this is Suzanne Williams with Essential Oils, Health Matters, and Living the Wholesome Life. And we are on week 41, day 4 of our positive, peaceful affirmations that we are doing every day, Monday through Friday. We are following Dr. Susan Lawton's book, Positive Peaceful Growth Calendar, that you can buy at Aroma Tools or Oil Life. If you love positive affirmations, or if you love music therapy, if you love essential oils and aromatherapy, I think you're really going to appreciate this book. It's quite simple, but the changes it can cause or help us effect are profound. The affirmation for the affirmation for today is, my quiet time is important. And there's two aspects about that. And that's that I'll talk about this I'll talk about them both. The first one is that we're important and our needs are important. And we want to make sure that just like we're trying to meet everyone else's needs, that we're trying to meet our needs too. So maybe as you're journaling today, just sit down in your quiet time and journal about some needs you have. And then say, these ones are being met wonderfully, and these ones aren't being met very well at all. And see what you can do to help the needs that are not being met to be met. Because we're important. And I do think that one of the most important needs that we all have is the need for quiet time. The need to connect with God, the need to just shut out all the noise of the world, shut off our phones and our computers, and just have that quiet time to listen and to rest. So part of the quiet time can even be the time that you take for sleeping, the time that you take for napping, the time that you take for exercise can be quiet time. I think one of the easiest ways to find quiet time as a mom is to say, okay, let's who wants to help me clean? And if you're in the room, I'm assuming that you're going to want to help me clean. Just watch how fast people scatter. Now, your children might be different than a lot of children I know. So maybe if you're saying, hey, who wants to help me clean? You're going to have a lot of volunteers. And if so, kudos to you. But it's one of the easiest ways I found to just get your own private space. And even if you just have to lock yourself in the bathroom and get a little bit of solitude, go ahead and do that. So, do you need a lot of quiet time to yourself? Do you need a little bit of quiet time? When are you going to schedule in your quiet time? I think if Stephen Covey was here, he would say, if you don't schedule it, it's not going to happen. You want to schedule appointments with yourself so that you can meet your top priorities. So Stephen Covey's, one of the biggest things he always says is schedule the big rocks first. And I know that quiet time for yourself is something that's easy to procrastinate and it's easy to push off, but it still really is a big rock. So let's all schedule that into our calendars. The affirmation for today is, I spend time in forgiveness of myself. Now, I had a better day yesterday, and so I didn't have major things to forgive, but I did have some minor things. Every day we have some things that we think, oh, I could have done that better, or I should have done that differently. Maybe I could have been kinder, or said things kinder, or said things more uplifting. We all have that. So each day it's good to spend time on forgiving us. I've noticed that if we can't forgive ourselves, we don't want to forgive other people either, right? They seem to kind of go hand in hand. And so if we forgive ourselves, if we work on forgiving ourselves, then we can give others the grace that they need too. Anyway, so think about and maybe even journal about forgiving yourselves. Do you tend to forgive really easily? Does it tend to be hard for you to forgive? Are certain things easy and certain things hard? I think we probably all have things that are hard for us in life. So if forgiveness is one, and I know that Heavenly Father has said that we need to forgive everyone, so it's really important. But if forgiveness is hard on you or hard for you, don't beat yourself up over that. I think there's some things in life that we really need God's help for. And sometimes I think forgiving certain things or certain people in our lives, we're just incapable of doing without God's help. So if there's some incident in the past that is still hurting, I'm just here to say that I do think that God can heal all wounds. I think time can help heal wounds. So don't beat yourself up if you're having a hard time forgiving. Just try to keep your heart and your mind as open to forgiveness, and pray. Heavenly Father, can you please help me forgive? Anyway, I think God, who knows how to do everything, who has all wisdom and all power, can work mighty changes in us, in our minds, in our hearts. Okay, so let's spend some time today forgiving ourselves, and that will lead to forgiveness of others. The song that I'm picking for today is Gentle by Michael McLean, and it talks about being gentle and forgiving with ourselves. Hold on just a minute. Okay, just seeing which of my children is awake and what are they doing. Okay, the diffuser blend that we're diffusing the whole entire week is 2 drops of lemon, which is the oil of focus. And then 2 drops, and super uplifting oil, a lot of people call it sunshine in a bottle. Oh, I'm diffusing 4 drops of that. Like, give me some more lemon. And then 2 drops of peppermint oil, which is the oil of a buoyant heart. Now, as we're talking about a buoyant heart, my dad is one of the most buoyant people I know. Mr. Happy, Mr. Bring the cheer with him wherever he goes, brings the sunshine just anywhere he goes. He makes people feel wonderful. Don't you love people like that? Maybe as you're journaling today, who is like that in your life? Who just brings the sunshine with them? And then maybe take it a level deeper. What do they do? How do they bring that sunshine with them? Because we want to be sunshine bearers and bringers too, right? We want to be the happiness and the joy bringers too. So, and I think we can learn from others. Okay, so back to peppermint. Peppermint. It has been used medicinally since 1000 BC. It was found it's used in Japanese medicine, in Chinese medicine. Peppermint essential oil has been found in the pyramids, and it's also one of the oldest herbs that has been used in Europe. So we can see that it's used extensively in both Eastern and Western medicine. Just for a little fun tip, peppermint is a hybrid species of spearmint and watermint. I don't even know what is watermint. If you know what watermint is, go ahead, post it in the comments. Let's all learn a little bit more about watermint. I know about spearmint. Oh my gracious, it smells so good. 2 drops spearmint, 2 drops fennel in your diffuser. An amazing blend for spring and summer. But back to peppermint. So here are some of its emotional gifts. And this is the #1 wine that I want you to remember about peppermint. Okay, first thing, y'all know that what an essential oil does physically, it also does amazing emotionally. So peppermint is world known as a as a pain reliever. You can put it on for headaches or cramps or sore muscles or whatever, like sore hands, whatever, sore backs. Anyway, we'll get to that later tomorrow when we're talking about the physical aspects of peppermint. But what I want us to just cement into our brain is that peppermint is amazing for pain peppermints, okay? And so not only is it good for physical pain, but it's as good for emotional pain. Now, this is the number one use that I want you to remember. And that's that if you're a type of person who something happens and you feel very sad or fearful or depressed or agitated over something, concerned. I'll just say feel very concerned about something that's just happened. What I want you to do, I want you to do two things, okay? What I want you to do is I want you to put some peppermint oil into your diffuser and turn it on. Or just get some peppermint. Caleb, can you get or Clancy, can you get me the peppermint, please? And bring it over to me. So I want you, if you don't have a diffuser, just get the peppermint oil out. Take off the cap. Smell it, okay? And it's gonna start working immediately to kind of calm down and to lessen that emotional angst that you have. So I want you to do this, especially, okay, so peppermint essential oil. First thing, take the cap off. Make sure you smell it. There are some people that I know that they order oils and then they just sit in their houses and they never get to know them. Please, when we order the essential oils, as soon as our box arrives, let's unpack it. Take it out of its packaging and take the cap off and smell your oils. Let's get to know our oils as soon as we possibly can. Okay, and peppermint is amazing to smell. So, again, back to what I was saying. If you're the type of person who seems to get easily agitated when things go wrong, I want you to diffuse your peppermint. I want you to smell your peppermint. Especially if you're the type of person who when it happens, you think it looks like a mountain of an occurrence. And then the next day you're like, oh, that was really minor. So if that is like the describing characteristic of you, I think you're really going to love peppermint. I think you're going to want to have it on at the time or as soon as possible after the activating event, after the thing that you think is so big. Start using it. Now, the other thing I would say on this one is go get some probiotics. To me, they are the best stress pill ever. And I don't want to medicate away stress. I don't want to medicate away our emotions. But what I think probiotics do is they enhance our gut flora. And so much of science is finding that so much of our emotional stability and even our mental clarity, our ability to think well, comes from having good gut flora. So if you're eating junk, you're not doing your emotions or your brain any benefit. So let's try not to eat the junk. I know, it tastes really good, but let's try not to eat it. Let's try to put it away. So stressful event, right? Stressful event happens. You're going to reach for your peppermint. You're going to start diffusing it. You're going to smell it. And you're going to reach for your probiotic and you're going to take one. You're going to nourish your gut. Now that's going to help us better deal with whatever's happening. And if you're one of those people who tends to be more concerned than you really do, and you know that if you wake up the next day and you're not as concerned at all, you're like, that really wasn't that big of a deal, then you're what the type of person I'm talking about. So start using the peppermint. Please start using your probiotics. doTERRA makes a super one for adult PB Assist. They also make one for children that's called PB Assist Junior. It comes in a tube like a pixie stick for children, and it tastes like a pixie stick. It is so good. Anyway, just give yourself, when things like that happen, give yourself some time. Go and do something for you. Nourish you. And then my best guess is if you have to deal with it the next day, Your mind and your emotions will be better balanced. You'll have come up with a good game plan, and maybe even the next day, you won't have to deal with it. So there you go. That's my biggest tip on peppermint essential oil. Peppermint essential oil can also give us a rush of fresh energy into our system, and it can break and lower the stress of the moment. It can allow us to relax instead of letting anxiety build up in our mind and our body. And isn't that something that can happen? Let's say your child is late getting home, and they're a little bit late, and you're like, oh, okay, you notice it, and then 30 minutes late, and you're starting to get a little concerned, and an hour late, you're like calling their friends, where are you, or calling them, and if you can't get a hold of them on their phone, our stress is mounting. Peppermint oil is something that can help break and relieve the stress. Remember, pain relieving. Not saying that we don't have to be concerned at certain things. Obviously we do, but we don't need to be emotionally hardly charged. And peppermint can help relieve that. And there's so many things that we worry over that we don't need to, and peppermint can help with that. It's great to use when you're emotionally exhausted. If you're dealing with the same things over and over and over again, peppermint can be good to use because it can be energizing. Now, peppermint is one of those essential oils that has differing actions. One, it can be very relaxing if you use a little bit of it, and two, it can be very stimulating if you use a lot. So, depending on what you need, if you need to be relaxed or if you need to be stimulated, then you'll know what to use. It's great for people. So much of what I'm talking about today is stress, but it's because peppermint can help relieve the stress and bring in that lightness and that buoyancy. So, it's great for people who tend to get overwhelmed, and then they just shut down. They just feel like they can't do anything because problems are too much. So if that describes you, peppermint would be a beautiful oil for you to include in your collection. Peppermint has been found that it can stimulate our mind, and it can increase our ability to focus. In fact, Dr. Dunbar of the University of Cincinnati found that it increased mental accuracy in students by 28%. So, I don't know, but when I was in high school or college and I was taking a test, I would have loved, I didn't know about peppermint oil back then, but I would have loved anything to help me do better on my tests, to help me listen better and absorb better in classes. So peppermint essential oil is something that you can put on diffuser bracelets or necklaces, diffuser jewelry, diffuser watches, and just bring with you into the classroom or into the testing room, just to help you focus and concentrate better and improve your memory. So peppermint can wake you up. So if it's in the afternoon, like around 3 o'clock or whenever it is, and you tend to be you're more anxious and more nervous and more frazzled, you don't want that. So don't reach for the sugary treat. Don't reach for the caffeinated drink. Reach for peppermint instead. You can even do 2 drops peppermint or 1 or 2 drops peppermint, 1 or 2 drops wild orange. Rub them together on your palms. Remember, all your reflexology points are on your palms. Rub them together. Smell that. It's going to smell amazing. And then put it on the backs of your neck, put it on your shoulders. It's going to be a beautiful, beautiful wake me up, pick me up. It's going to be natural. And you're not going to feel worse after you do it. Okay, so if you're confused or you're muddled in life, peppermint can help. It can help open up understanding and help us see things more clearly, focus more clearly on what's really happening around us, and then work with that. Peppermint is a great emotional cleanser. It just kind of it lightens the mood, and so it can help if you have lingering heavy emotions, unhealthy attachments, or unfounded fears. It can help relieve those. And who doesn't have some of those, right? Like we're all struggling with something and we all can use a little bit of relief from it. It can help with those that are suffering, who feel like life is dark and depressing, to see more of the joy in life. It can help lift the sadness and the pressure. It can help put a cap on unhealthy emotions and give us a short reprieve for them. So peppermint is such an amazing emotional painkiller that some people can abuse peppermint, right? And they can just use it when anything goes wrong and then never deal with what is actually happening. And we don't want to be people like that, right? I once went to a class and they used the analogy of having problems as like having poop in your fish tank. And yeah, sometimes like the problems settle and you don't really see it, but the problems are still there. And you really don't want a poopy fish tank. So like, let's deal with the issue. Sometimes we need a break from them. Great, that's what the time to reach for your peppermint. Sometimes we need to deal with them often. After we've had the break, after we've had the refresh, and we've you're coming with a fresh and a balanced mind and lower emotions so our mind can actually work better. That's the time to deal with the issues, right? We don't want to sweep the issues under the rug. We want to deal with them, but we want to deal with them when we're at a good place, not when we're at a frightened or worried or stressed out place, because then our mind isn't going to be working as well. So it's great to use. Remember how it helps you become alert? So if you want to remember your dreams better, try keeping peppermint by your bed. When you wake up and you're just thinking, oh yeah, then reach for your peppermint and see if that can't help you remember your dreams a little bit better. I do think that a lot of times we are working out our problems in our dreams. Sometimes I feel like God inspires in me in my dreams, or even just when I'm coming out of my dreams, kind of still in that little bit of hazy state, where God just kind of whispers in my ear, maybe because it's a quiet time. He whispers in my ear, hey Suzanne, what about this? What do you think about this? And anyway, when do you feel like you're inspired by Heavenly Father? Go ahead and write that in your journal today too, right? Okay. So just as peppermint, as we'll learn tomorrow, can aid in digestion, peppermint can aid us in digesting through our emotions. When we talk about digesting, what is digestion? It's basically keeping what serves our body and getting rid of what doesn't, right? And so that's what it can help us do emotionally. It can help us keep what serves our body and get rid of what doesn't. And it can also help us if we're in an atmosphere of learning where we're trying to digest through a lot of different ideas. Peppermint can be great to use at times like that too. We've already talked about how it can boost memory and focus. And then the negative emotions that peppermint can help with is unbearable anguish, intense despair, being heavy-hearted, being pessimistic, and being sad. Now, usually when I talk about peppermint, I talk about the movie What About Bob? Because Bob is this person that's afraid of everything, and he has a lot of problems, and his counselor is going on vacation, and he basically says to Bob, he's like, take a vacation. I'm writing you a prescription for you to take a vacation from your problems. So that's what kind of peppermint does. It allows us to have some breathing room. Well, it is very opening to the respiratory system, but it allows us to have some breathing room and some space, some emotional space from our problems, whether they're super heavy or whether we just don't have the emotional energy to deal with them right now. Peppermint can help us have that emotional vacation from our problems. Super amazing. And the positive properties that it brings in is feeling buoyant, feeling optimistic, feeling relieved, having the strength to face our emotional pain. And that's, to me, that's the most important thing it does, is it gives us the strength to face our emotional pain. And then, well, it does some things super amazing physically too. And we'll be talking about those tomorrow. Okay, so that's some of the top benefits of peppermint essential oil. Again, the diffuser blend for this week, this whole week, is 4 drops of lemon essential oil, sunshine in a bottle, and 2 drops of peppermint, an amazing blend, well, an amazing oil for I'm just going to say emotional pain relief. So you have sunshine in a bottle, you have emotional pain relief, and then you have the ability with the peppermint too to focus on what's important and understand what's important. So, amazing emotional blend. Okay, going back to the song for the day, which is Gentle by Michael McLean. If you haven't heard it, it's a beautiful song. I'll post it in the comments for you. The affirmation for today is, I spend time in forgiveness of myself. We've all done things in our past that we are not proud of and that were not good ideas in retrospect. And there's no reason to carry that weight around with us forever. Let's repent. Let's make restitution. Let's mend the fences and mend whatever we can. And then let it go. Learn from it as best we can. And then just let it go. The guilt does not serve anything. It doesn't serve. Once the repentance is done, it's time to let that all go. So spend some time today forgiving yourself. It will lead to forgiveness of others too. And the affirmation for the entire week is, my quiet time is important. I am important. You are important. Take some time for some quiet time for yourself today. Okay, this is Suzanne Williams with Essential Oils Health Matters and Living the Wholesome Life, reminding us all that we have this incredible power within us, with God, to make every day a great day. Bye-bye.